Hi, everybody. My name is Grace Smith with the Wise News Network, and today I am here at the Camp Centurion Gaston Barracks. Now, if you haven't heard about Camp Centurion, it is a veteran service organization that is dedicated to providing veterans with transitional housing. Now, today we're going to hear from Kenneth Hevner, who is the director of Camp Centurion. He's going to tell us a little bit about what Camp Centurion does and also an event that they have coming up on May 18th. This event is called Veterans StandDown, and it is a community outreach event to help the community know that Camp Centurion is here. Stay tuned. Now, Kenneth, for our viewers who might not know, do you mind telling us a little bit about what Camp Centurion is and what is the mission of your organization?
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity today. I really appreciate it. Being able to share what we do here. The mission of Camp Centurion is basically we house low income and homeless veterans, but the mission is really coming together and giving them a safe and secure environment where they can actually heal and really come home, regardless of how long they were in the service or what war they did or did not serve in. None of that really matters. Okay? We just want them to have a safe and secure environment to heal in.
And why do you think it's so important to provide these veterans with a safe environment to heal and to reacclimate themselves to society after their service?
Well, when you look at the homeless community as a whole, right, and when you focus in on male homeless veterans, and you look at it, many times what you find is that they have co-occurring disorders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those disorders are most of the time stem from their service. The co-occurring disorder could be some kind of addiction, a substance abuse, along with mental illness, whether it be PTSD, anxiety, or depression. So to be able to really treat, right, and to be able to really heal and to be able to actually do something about veteran homelessness, right, you have to have a safe and secure environment for them to be in. If someone's living in a tent in the woods, the likelihood, right, and doesn't have a safe place to go, right, the likelihood of them actually being able to heal and get the help that they need, not knowing, hey, well, okay, after I go to treatment, or after I go for treatment for substance abuse, or after I go to treatment for my mental illness or my PTSD, and I even continue treatment, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I have to go right back to living on the street, why even go? Why even go? So I think that's very important. It's very important to be like, just to have a home where they can be like, well, I have a home to go to. I have somewhere where they will help me, because we're not a substance abuse facility. That's not what we are. We're not a mental health facility. That's not what we are. We have many community partners that we partner with. So if somebody needs those things, we can get them there and we can get them those things. And when they're done there, then they have a home to come to afterwards.
So this is a transitional housing facility.
Yes.
And you gave us a tour, we walked around, and one thing that I noticed is that it really does feel like a home. Why is it important for you and for your organization to make this environment as homely and as welcoming as possible to the veterans that you are assisting?
Because nobody when they enter into a building, and I'll say it this way, we call it a home, we treat it as a home. It's not a shelter, right? People live here. They have to know, well, I can live here, right? You're going to see, how to say this way, people live here, you're going to see scuff marks on the wall, right? You're going to see a mess in the kitchen every once in a while. It's livable. Mm-hmm. You have to live, right? So it's very imperative for them to feel safe, for them to feel secure, and to just really, just to take a deep breath and just to let it out. Just let it out. And to have people around them that they know want to help them, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of these gentlemen, a lot of these veterans that we deal with, they've like they're coming off the street, or they're living in their car, or they've been sheltered somewhere else before. A lot of them, for lack of better words, have burned all the bridges they can burn with their family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because I'm saying that because most of the time people and families have to cut off, right? Because that's the only way individuals can get that real help they need, is when you cut them off. And that's probably the best place a family member could ever be in. Why it is sad and it is heartbreaking, it's the best place that they can be in, is just be done. Just be done, to force the person that needs the help, to fall flat on their back, so all they can do is look up and get the help that they need.
In your experience, have you noticed that homelessness among veterans is either a cause or a catalyst to dealing with some of these comorbidities, for example, alcoholism or substance abuse of other varieties?
Yeah, I would say 90 to 95% of the time that the substance abuse, just in the experience of the last 10 months or so, right, that the substance abuse is typically triggered by some other event, right? That either it's some type of PTSD, some type, something that happened, some kind of trauma that happened in an individual's life, where they're actually using the substance abuse to cope, with. So if you don't treat co-occurring disorders as co-occurring disorders, if you only try to treat the substance abuse, right, it's very hard for the person to get clean and stay clean. Even in substance abuse treatment, they dig. They dig and dig and dig, because they will dig to try to find that trauma. They will dig to try to find the reasons why, right? Because if you don't, and I don't like using the word coping mechanisms. I don't believe coping mechanisms work. Okay, you have to get to the root of the cause. You have to root it out, and that person has to heal at that point. That's where the healing comes from. You don't just, day to day, you don't just get by. Because I'll tell you where getting by gets you. Getting by gets you to relapse. That's where getting by gets you to. You have to really dig deep. And we've helped some gentlemen, and they're in treatment right now. And it's like the roots are being dug up. They're being dug up, and they're being treated, and they'll come out better out of treatment, because both of the disorders are being treated. And they'll come and they'll have a home to come to.
And we've already talked a little bit about what kind of services Camp Centurion offers, but do you mind going in a little bit more detail? You mentioned that this is not a mental health facility, but you do have community partners for folks who are suffering or struggling with their mental health or with their substance abuse disorders. So what kind of services are offered by Camp Centurion?
Okay, I'll start off with the substance abuse and the mental health, right? Because I think it's very important, and it's right at the very forefront of what we do. Our community partners, there's a lot of places for an individual to go to and to get treatment if they want to do better for themselves. There's the VA, that's great, right? There's we tend to try to steer away and use other individual partners because of working relationships that we have. There's Bethel Colony, which is in Lenore. It's a Christian-based 62 to 65 day inpatient, treatment program, where it can get extended 30 days at a time, depending on the individual and the individual's needs. And then as far as the services that we do in-house here, so what we actually do. So yes, we house, right? This is a home we house. We don't charge anybody anything to live here. Everything in this home is donated or procured for the needs of the individual veterans that live here. Food, so we house, we feed, we help get stable employment. Obviously, we help with those services that I previously mentioned about substance abuse and mental health. We get people to those places. A lot of times, a veteran will have transportation, but there's something wrong with their transportation. It needs some work done to it. So we partner with Veterans Community Alliance out of Lincoln County. They basically work on veterans' vehicles. They'll do it for free, typically, if that's what it needs to be done. But they just ask really that you pay for the parts. They do the labor for free. So we partner with them. And then if individuals need a vehicle, right, we'll try to help and try to figure out how to get them a vehicle so that they can gain employment and drive back and forth to work, to be able to get onto their own feet to do for themselves, which kind of leads me to we are set up to be a 12-month program. We're set up to let veterans live in the home for 12 months. We have rules, we have a handbook, treat the home as you would treat your own home, treat others as others would like to be treated. So we have those kind of things in place. But when I say we're a 12-month program, we require veterans to work after being in the house for 30 days. We'll get you a job. Mm-hmm. It could be a starter job. It don't have to be your forever job, right? But we'll get you some income coming in. And then we'll work on better employment as time goes along. So we help them get jobs so that they have steady income, so that hopefully by the end of the 12 months after they've been here, they have enough money to save up, even with the current cost of living, right, to be able to move out of our home into their own home.
And then can you explain or describe any success stories that you've seen while working for Camp Centurion?
Yeah, I would like to just define what success is for mm-hmm. us, right? Just to kind of frame that, right? Because we can't measure our success by the efforts that other people put in. For example, the individual veterans that live here, but we measure our success here by the effort that myself, our staff, our board members, our community partners, our volunteers put in to help individual veterans, right? So that's kind of how we measure that success. I'll share with you, we had a gentleman move out of the house this week. He had been here for roughly about 6 months, a little bit over 6 months. The gentleman didn't have any co-occurring disorders, any disorders at all. He was just a homeless guy, right, who was paying to live in a hotel. So he came here for 6 months. We helped him get stable employment, and then he moved on. He moved on this week. He could have stayed longer, but he said he was ready to go. So he moved on this week. So that's one life that we changed. He was better when he left here than 6 months ago when he came here. And then I really, when you think of success, I think getting someone to treatment is a success. Mm-hmm. If you can talk to someone and be like, hey, we have somewhere for you to come to and to live and to better yourself and to get back onto your feet after you get better, after you do your treatment. So I think getting to someone to treatment is a success. I think getting someone back to treatment 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times after a relapse, because the typical addict will relapse 6 or 7 times before it actually sticks and grows roots. So I think that's a success. We've got a gentleman right now that's been at first at Blue Ridge. We never housed him, but we helped him. He's been at first at Blue Ridge for a little bit over 4 months. Drug addiction was, cocaine. Pretty serious cocaine addiction. His family situation was terrible. His wife and his kids were living in a car in Gaston County. We've since helped get them sheltered. They have somewhere to stay. But this gentleman has been at this treatment facility for 4 months and is in their veterans program there, and he'll be there for another 10 months. So that's a success. We are a part of the Veterans Treatment Court of Gaston County, where we go to court and we meet with a team every couple of weeks, and we look at court cases in Gaston County of veterans, and the intent there is to get the veteran to say, hey, I need some help, and I'll accept some help. Mm-hmm. That's the intent there. But we have 2 gentlemen that we've been trying to help. They're in the Gaston County Jail right now, and one of them Well, both of them we actually housed here for a little while. Co-occurring disorders, mental illness, and substance abuse. And we will continue to try to help them as long as they want to put forth the effort to try to help themselves.
To shift gears a little bit, can you tell us about the Veterans Stand Down event that will be taking place next Saturday?
I think the intent of the event is actually kind of twofold. It's kind of coupled together. But what we want to do and what we're trying to seek out to accomplish is to try to bring together as many community partners and as many resources and as many veterans and other people, not even veterans, from the community into one location at one time. One, to find somebody to help, you know, and whatever that may be. Like, you know, it could be a veteran needs to file a VA claim for disability, something that simple. To find somebody to help and get them that help, right? So it's that aspect of it. But we also want to all to collectively come together and to fellowship and to network, right? And to really portray what we do here. Because I can sit here, I can walk people through this home, right? I can try to articulate to you what we do here, but it takes somebody really seeing firsthand, you know, what we're trying to accomplish and what we are accomplishing to really for it to sink in and to settle in. You know, you could probably ask a lot of people within a few miles from here, 10 miles from here, right? If they even know what Camp Centurion is or what Camp Centurion does. So that's another thing. We're just trying to get the word out, right, about what we do. In our home, we can house 8 veterans at a time. I told you earlier we had one gentleman who he left. He moved on this week. Right now we're housing 2 veterans. What does that mean? That means I have 6 empty beds right now, right? I have 6 opportunities to help change someone's life. And that's what we're trying to move towards. So it's really, we're bringing people together, right, for camaraderie, you know, fellowship, and to show what we do here and to help veterans. But at the same time, we want to see the forward growth, right, of the organization to be able to be set up long-term for success. And I lead into that because I'll say this. When you talk about long-term success, right? Well, I'll say, well, people ask, well, what do you need, right? What do you need to continue your mission? And I'll tell you that we need volunteers. You don't have to be a veteran. We need volunteers. We need people to, you know, any day of the week just to come out to the house, right, and do simple things like help maybe clean, cook a meal, or run an errand. You'd be amazed how much that takes off of staff here, where we could focus on what other things that we really need to focus on. So volunteers, we need veteran mentors, right? And I'll define that for you, what a veteran mentor is. It's really because nobody understands, and I think that's what's really unique about what we do here. Nobody understands a veteran like a veteran. Okay, it's just a language, you know, and it doesn't matter what branch of service you're in. It's just a language. It's a different language. You can say it's an unspoken language, but nobody understands a veteran like a veteran. And to have a veteran mentor just to kind of come alongside, because myself, the staff, the board members here, like we can't do this alone. We just can't. Just to somebody to come along, one of the veterans that we house here, and just maybe have lunch with them every once in a while. Give them an encouraging text. Check in with them, see how they're doing, see if there's something that's not being done for them that could be done. Because a lot of times it's very hard, specifically for a man and specifically for a veteran that's been hard-nosed. I'll figure it out. I'll push through the mission. I'll get it done, to say, hey, I need some help. It's very difficult to swallow that pride, okay? And to say, hey, I need some help. And many times what we see is that individual veteran, that guy, he'll be like, he'll say something to his mentor, right, that he won't necessarily say to me as the director. He won't necessarily say to our assistant director or a volunteer or a board member, right? And if we don't know about these things, there's nothing that we can do to try to facilitate the needs. So that's why veteran mentors are very important. So those are one of the things that we need. I would say we need some more like church community sponsors. We have a handful of churches that help us a lot, whether it be monetarily, whether it be with veteran mentors, right? A lot of the help that we get here comes from the body of Christ. And I hate to say it, it's the best help you can get. Loving people, wanting to give back and do things for others. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to love our brother. And so that's some things that we could use help on. We have some individual donors who just set up on PayPal to just do like a $25, a $50, $100 donation a month. We only have a handful of those right now. We could really use some more. And I can expound upon what those things go towards, right? Yes, we partner with Dallas Christian Ministries. They provide 90% of the food in the house, but we have to go spend money every week for groceries to be able to put with that food to make meals. We have overhead that we have to cover here. We have bills to pay. I mean, all these, it goes towards all those things. So you would be amazed how much just a $25 a month contribution would go towards the cause, right?
So this event that is next Saturday, it is open to the public. Will there be a way for them to either donate money or bring donations of food for the event on Saturday?
Yeah, we're always open to that, but I'll tell you, I'll reiterate that is not the intent of the event. We're happy for those kind of things, and we'll be more than welcoming for those kind of things. But it's not the overall intent of the event. Like we want to come together, show the cause of what we do here, eat a good meal. We're going to have some nice barbecue, eat a good meal, and those things like that, they'll take care of themselves. But yeah, there's opportunity, check, cash, we have a PayPal, supply list and things like that. Yes, more than willing to accept that kind of stuff. But I just want to really focus on that is not the intent of the event. It's not a fundraising event at all. It's a community event to showcase the cause and the mission of what we are trying to accomplish here.
More like outreach.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
And then how can veterans reach out to Camp Centurion if they are in need of assistance? What does the process look like from their end of things?
I'll tell you, 90% of the cases we get are through, it's through referrals. Somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Really, the best way is for a veteran, this is what I tell everybody, to get some help, because is to go through their county veterans service officer. Go to that office, because that office is a one-stop shop, right? If you need to do claims, you can do claims, right? If you need any services, they're just as connected as we are, right? If you need housing, they know who to call. They know who to get in touch with. But go there so that they can assess all your needs and get you to the right place. I'm not saying the individual just can't go to our website. There's a contact form, right? On our website. We have a Facebook page. We have Facebook Messenger, right? You can use those platforms. We have a house phone here. I'm not saying don't use those ways to get in contact with us. I'm saying that the best avenue for a veteran that is needing help is always the veteran service officer in the county.
That makes sense. And so this event, there's going to be barbecue, there's going to be good company, there's going to be maybe some education about what y'all are doing here at Camp Centurion. And why would you encourage community members to come out and see what y'all are doing here for the event?
Yeah, I just think, people can ride up and down the road and see a sign outside and see a flag, hanging up on a pole, right? And you can wonder, well, what is that? I think there's a lot of people that wonders, what is that? I think it's important for the community to come out. And like I said before, you have to see, I don't want to ask anybody. I don't feel comfortable asking anybody for supply donations, right? Monetary donations or anything like that without them first seeing with their own eyes and seeing firsthand what we're doing here. And this is opportunity. We'll have somebody to walk people through the house. We probably won't go through too many of the living areas where guys actually live. It'd be limited, on like a rotational basis. But you need to come see, with your own eyes, what we're doing here, and then make your own judgments and your own assessments of whether this is something that you would like to contribute to and to be a part of, whether it be, monetarily, supplies, or time. So I think that's very important. That day, yes, we're going to have great barbecue. We're going to have desserts, baked beans, some chips, we're going to have a good meal. But we're also going to have a guest speaker that day as one of our board members. His name is Kevin Evans. He's an ambassador for Mission 22, which it's basically an organization that tries to combat, veteran suicides. So he'll be our guest speaker that day. We have all these community partners coming in as vendors. So there's going to be, there's going to be a lot of networking. There's going to be a lot of people here that can, if the item that's not here that a veteran need, if it's not here, we know who to get, who to get to. So I think it's just very imperative for the local community just to come and see what we do here.
It seems like a great cause, or it seems like a great event for an even greater cause. Do you have anything else to add either about Camp Centurion or the event that is upcoming?
Yeah, I would just like to encourage everybody that can just to come out and see. We have limited parking, but we are going to have a shuttle service set up. So basically, it's a Mount Pisgah Church. It's up on the left on Dallas-Cherville Highway. They've agreed to let us use their parking lot. So we'll have, you can go there and park, and then we'll have shuttle services starting at 8:30, running all day long to run people back and forth to the property. We are saving all the local parking for any disabled veterans and people like that can't get in out of a van, right, very well. So that's all the little bit of limited parking that we have here. We're saving it for those disabled veterans or, even disabled members of the community that come by. I would, again, encourage people to come out. I would encourage people to get involved. I'll say that our veterans in this country deserve more. And I say that with a very humble heart, being a veteran, being a son of a veteran, being a son-in-law of a veteran, being a brother of veterans, right? That we, including veterans, right? Not just the government, not just the local community, but veterans, even veterans, need to do more to give back to all those that have done so much for us. And that's really the gist of all this. It's all about doing good for others.
Mark your calendars for May 18th, the Veterans StandDown event with Camp Centurion, for good barbecue, great company, and to learn a little bit more about what this service organization can do for veterans of Gaston County. For the Wise News Network, I'm Grace Smith.